Hello and welcome back to my channel and to part 2 of this reading blog that is covering the Magical Readathon and the Bookoplathon, both of which are month-long readathons that I'm doing in September. So, like I said, this is going to be part 2 of this vlog. Today is September 15th, so this vlog is basically covering the second half of the month. If you want to know how I did in this first half of the month, you can go check out part 1 of this vlog, because I won't really talk about the books that I've already read. I won't talk about those in this vlog. So go watch that if you haven't already. So first of all, let's do a little bit of a reading update. I finished 3 books so far. Like I said, I talked about those in part 1 of this vlog. And I'm in the middle of 2 more books. The first one of those is The Song of Achilles, which I am reading an audiobook. I think I'm about halfway through that book, which is perfect since we're halfway through the month, so I shouldn't have a problem finishing that one in time. I'm also reading my big book of the month, which is Royal Assassin. I've actually made pretty good progress. This is what I've left. I think it's a little over 200 pages, I think, that I have left of this book. And things are getting interesting for sure in this one, so I shouldn't have any problems finishing this one, I don't think. I'm really into this book right now. As for other things that I have left for these readathons, I have 1 book left that covers both of the readathons, and that is Virgin Flyer by Lucy Lennox. I will probably start that one maybe this week sometime. Today's Wednesday, by the way. And then for the Bookoplathon, I have a prompt that I haven't figured out what to read yet, and that is because I got the prompt community shelf card. And for this prompt, I mean, it's not really a prompt, you basically just have to pick a prompt for yourself from a selection of prompts that you would maybe like to do. So what I decided to do for this one is to use, I have a little stack, it's very small. I have a little stack of prompts here that I made last year for Bookoplathon. So I figured I may just use those now as well. I had a quick look at them just to see that there were prompts that I could actually do, and I took out a couple that wouldn't really be possible for me to do right now, so I haven't included those. So I figured I'd just shuffle these a little bit and then pick a prompt from this stack. So I think I'm just going to do that now so that I'll know what the prompt is and I can think a little bit about what book I may want to read for it. Okay, I think we've shuffled enough. Let's just go with the top one. That's going to be this one. What is it? Author whose first and last name start with the same letter. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I will probably have to think about that one a little bit. I don't think it should be too difficult to find something. I mean, the one book that I do have left on my TBR is written by Lucy Lennox, so that one would work, but obviously that book is already covering other prompts, so I can't use that one. But yeah, I think I could find something for this. I just have to think about it for a little bit, but I'll get back to you probably in my next updates and tell you which book I've decided to read. So I think that is everything that I wanted to cover right now. I just wanted to start the vlog really and pick the prompts that I didn't yet know what was, so that I could start thinking about what to read. So I will probably be back in a few days maybe to let you know if I finished anything else. I mean, right now I'm not really close to finishing anything. Like this one, like I said, I still have quite a bit left. Song of Achilles, my audiobook, have quite a bit left, and I haven't started anything else, so it will probably be a few days until I've finished anything, but I'll get back to you when I do, so I guess I'll talk to you then. Guys, I feel kind of stupid. I'm blaming it on the fact that I have so many prompts to keep track of this month. For me it's been a couple of days, but you will have just seen me pick my prompt for the community shelf card for the Bookoplathon, and it was to read a book by an author whose first and last name starts with the same letter. And I was talking about how the Lucy Lennox book that I have yet to read this month would be perfect for that prompt, but that I couldn't use it because it was already covering another prompt. Turns out it doesn't. It's covering a book for the Magical Readathon, but not the Bookoplathon. So basically I can use it, which is perfect, but I did not realize. I mean, I thought for sure it was already on my Bookoplathon TBR, but it's not. So I can use it. I mean, that is just perfect. I thought for sure I would have to pick another book for that prompt. I thought for sure I couldn't make things overlap this well, but I mean, apparently I can. So yeah, I'm reading Virgin Flyer by Lucy Lennox for that prompt, which means that that is the only book that I have left to read this month, aside from the 2 books that I'm currently reading, which is The Song of Achilles and Royal Assassin. So yeah, I figured I'd just drop by real quick to let you know that, because yeah, I did not realize I could use that book. So there you go. So anyway, it's now Friday, it's the weekend, finally I'm excited about it. Hopefully I'm going to read a lot. I'm actually going to take a little bit of a break from Royal Assassin, which is like my main book right now, and read Virgin Flyer this weekend, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully it's going to be good. I'm also really enjoying Royal Assassin right now, by the way, but I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break from that one and then just wrap it up next week, hopefully. So yeah, that was my update. So I'll talk to you soon, I guess. It's now Thursday, the 23rd of September, and I finished another book. Yesterday I finished Virgin Flyer by Lucy Lennox. I really enjoyed it. It's about, we have our main character Theo, and he is in love with his best friend. He's been in love with his best friend for years, and his friend has just kind of been telling him that, yeah, I'm into you too, we'll be together one day, but I'm not ready to settle down, can you please wait? And Theo has just been waiting and waiting and waiting, and he's getting kind of tired of it, and he just wants to experience love and romance. He's a very romantic person. So in order to do that, he goes on this app and he makes a profile where he basically says that he's interested in a one-night stand with someone, only that he wants that one-night stand to be like romantic. He wants to be loved and taken care of and held and all those things, just for one night, just to know like what it feels like. He also requests that they don't speak to each other at all, and that there is going to be like no names exchanged or anything like that. So it's going to be completely anonymous for one night. And the person who ends up seeing this request is our other main character, Jack, and he is a pilot, so he just travels a lot. So he's in like one day he's in this city and the next day he's in that city, and sometimes when he's in a new city he like goes on this hookup app and he finds someone to spend the night with, so he has some one night stands here and there, and then one day he sees Theo's kind of unusual request, and he is immediately intrigued. And he ends up getting in touch with Theo, and the two of them meet up and they spend the night together, and it's great. And then, you know, they go their separate ways. A few months passes, and both of them during these months they change jobs. So Theo, for his new job, he is now going to Europe on a trip with a private plane. And he's terrified of flying. He's actually never been in a plane before because he's so scared of it, so this will be his first trip on a plane. And he is like super nervous, and he enters the plane, and of course he sees the pilot, and it just turns out that it's Jack. And that's basically how they meet again. And the story kind of goes from there. A lot more happens in this, but that's kind of the setup. This was just great. I loved both the main characters. I loved the side characters. I thought the characters' journey through this book was great, both like separate and as they were like coming together. I also thought the author just did a really good job with this setting. I feel like when I read romance in some of the books that I read, like there's really just no sense of place. Like the story could literally be set anywhere and it wouldn't have made a difference. But with this one, I definitely like felt the setting, and I thought I kind of got the sense of the area they were in, even though I've never been there. And I just thought the author did a great job with that. So all in all, this was really good. I will probably give it 4.5 stars, I think, because I don't really have anything negative to say about it. It just didn't quite give me that 5-star feeling. But this was really good. And I talked about before how I was a little bit hesitant about this book. I was excited about it. I thought that it might be a really good one, but I was also hesitant because I've read from Lucy Lennox before and I didn't love the book that I read then. But this one was just so much better. The story was better, it was better written, like everything about this I thought was better. So now I'm just excited to read the other Lucy Lennox books that I have on my Kindle, because I have a few more. And now I'm excited to read them, so that's good. So this book counts, as you will have seen in my last update, this book now counts for both the readathons I'm doing. So for the Magical Readathon, it is for the prompt Tower of Rumination, and that is to read a 5-star prediction. Like I said, I had high hopes for this book, even though I was also a little hesitant. So. And then for Bookoplathon, it was for my community shelf card, where I picked the prompt to read a book by an author whose first and last name starts with the same letter. So that would work for Lucy Lennox. So that is that book done, which means that I don't have much left of the books that I need to finish. I'm still reading The Song of Achilles. I don't have much left at all, so I expect I will probably finish that book on my next hike. Like I usually listen to that one on my hikes. And then I'm also almost done with Royal Assassin. I think I have about 100 pages left of this book. So this one has been a slow one. I'm reading it super slow, but it's just like that kind of book. I need to take my time with this, but I'm absolutely loving it. It's so good. So I'm excited and a little scared to read the last 100 pages, because things are happening in this book right now. So yeah, we'll probably finish this one this weekend, I would think. Also, I feel like the lighting has changed a lot while I've been filming, but it's just that kind of day. Like the weather is all over the place. It's like sunny 1 minute and then the next one is raining. So I feel like it's a lot darker here now than when I started filming this clip. Anyway, like I said, don't have much left of the books that I need to complete in order to like complete the readathons. So I will probably make one more update, I expect, which will probably be this weekend or early next week. So yeah, I think that was everything that I wanted to say for now. So I guess I will talk to you in a couple of days. So it's been a few days since my last update, and I have now finished some books. I have finished The Song of Achilles, and I have finished Royal Assassin. So let's talk about those books. I'll start with The Song of Achilles, because that's the one that I finished first. Where to begin with this one? I had been warned before I read it that this would be a sad book. And I'm very happy that I was warned about that, because I think if I hadn't known, then maybe, because I was actually pretty happy with how this book ended and how the story ended. And I think that was because I was warned and because I had some idea of what might happen. If I hadn't known that, I think maybe I would have been disappointed or upset about some things that happened in here. But because I knew or had an idea, that actually went well. It was sad though, but I think it could have been worse if I had been taken by surprise. So thank you to everyone who has mentioned that this book, it's pretty sad, because it definitely is. I think I mentioned in my TBR that I was a bit hesitant about reading this book or listening to it as an audiobook, because that's what I did. Because there are just certain types of books that I can't really read on audio. If there's like a lot of information, a lot of world building, things like that, I just struggle to take everything in. It's just too much information, basically. So I was a little bit unsure about this one. The good thing is that it actually worked pretty well as an audiobook. The story was pretty easy to follow, and I thought the audiobook was actually really good. I would recommend it on audio if you were an audiobook listener, because it was, I thought anyway, it was a really good one. The one thing that I struggled with was like all the names, basically, all the side characters, in particular the male side characters. There are not that many female characters, so I didn't have a problem with those. But all the male side characters, I just struggled to keep them straight in my head. I couldn't really remember who was who. That probably would have been easier if I'd read the book physically, because I could have gone back and checked who each person was when I wasn't sure. So that was like my main problem with listening to this one on audio. This could also be due to the fact that I just don't know anything about Greek mythology. I read that this was actually a sort of a reimagining of the Iliad, which I had no idea about because I have never read the Iliad and I don't really have any interest in reading that. I'm basically just not that interested in Greek mythology, and therefore I don't know anything about it. And maybe if I had some background knowledge on that, maybe this story would have been easier to follow, or like the characters would have been easier. I don't know. As a whole, I thought the story was pretty easy to follow, but like I said, struggled with the characters and all the names, so maybe that part would have been easier. Another thing I wanted to mention, like I said, I'm just not super into like Greek mythology. And for that reason, I didn't like love the setting of this book. Like the actual story wasn't quite my favorite. I thought it was good. I did enjoy it. And I absolutely loved the story of Achilles and Patroclus. Patroclus? Yeah, that's the right name, right? So I absolutely love that part of the story, but like the rest, like the war and all that other stuff, just I wasn't that into it, I guess. Even though for a book about Greek mythology, which I already knew I wasn't that interested in, this was actually a really good one. And it was a pretty easy one to get into. So I think if you're like me and you're not particularly interested in it, this one could be a good one to pick up if you still want to read a book set in that era or about Greek mythology. I guess that's sort of what I'm left with. So as a whole, this was, I thought, a really good book. I absolutely love the writing style, by the way. That one was one of my favorite things about this book. And I absolutely also loved the story of Achilles and Patroclus. The rest was more like okay for me. So I think this would be a 4-star read for me. Some parts I absolutely loved, some parts were just okay. So 4 stars feels like the right rating for me with this book. And then I also finished Royal Assassin. This book I've been reading forever, it feels like. But yeah, what to say about this one? Let me just start with the fact that I absolutely loved this book. I loved the first book as well. I think the first time I read the first book, I gave it 4 stars, and then I reread it this summer and I gave it 4.5 stars because I enjoyed it even more the second time. And this one, I think I enjoyed even more than the first book. This one was just really good. I just love the political intrigue in here. I love that I have no idea where the story is going to go. I'm constantly surprised. I love like all the characters in here. I feel like they're all so complex and so interesting. And like one thing I thought about when I read this is that usually I like in fantasy, or in most books actually, I like stories that are told from multiple perspectives. I just like seeing things from different characters' points of view. But with this one, we only have one perspective. We only see things from Fitz's point of view. And in this book, I actually love that. I love that we only know what Fitz knows. And he's the type of character, he knows a lot because he's part of the royal family and partly he's not. So it's also kind of part of the like more common people. And so he knows a lot, he sees a lot. He talks to a lot of different characters. But he doesn't know everything. There's a lot he doesn't know. And because he doesn't know it, we don't know it. And that just makes this story so interesting, I feel like. So in this particular series, it totally works with only having one perspective. I actually really love that. So I think this book is actually a 5-star book for me. I just love this. I loved reading it. I loved experiencing everything that Fitz experienced in here. Some parts were harder to read than others, but overall this was just such a great read. So yeah, I think I'm going to give this one 5 stars. It was just really, really good. And if you're into like high, epic, adult fantasy and you haven't picked up the series yet, I would highly recommend it. It's maybe a little bit on the slower side. Like there's not like a ton of action in here. The things that are happening is more like subtle, I guess. But like personally, I love that. I think I mentioned before that I don't really love a lot of action in books. I love this particular or this kind of story way more. So I would like highly recommend this series if you haven't read it already. I feel like a lot of people have already read it because this was published in the 90s, so I'm kind of late, but yeah, pick it up if you haven't already. And that I can also mention that the Song of Achilles I read for the Magical Readathon. I read that one for the prompt to read the standalone, and for the Bookoplathon I read it for the prompt Gods. And Royal Assassin I read for the prompt a book that keeps tempting you or is on the top of your TBR. That was for the Magical Readathon. And for Bookoplathon, I read it for the prompt Big Book, so a book with more than 500 pages. So I'm actually going to end this vlog here. To be completely honest, I actually finished these books a couple of days ago. Today is the 29th, so we're almost at the end of the month. And I had a bit of a discussion with myself about whether or not to try and fit in another book for one or both of the readathons, because I had like 3 or 4 days left where I could potentially read something else. But I decided to not do that just because, you know, I had finished the TBRs that I had planned. I didn't really want to start planning something else or do another roll for a Bookoplathon and then risk getting a double, so I had to do another prompt because I didn't have that much time left. So I decided to just like end the readathon a little bit early and just get a head start on my October TBR instead, because if you have watched my October TBR, which should be up before this vlog, you know that I have a book, in particular this book, that I'm going to read in October. This is the sequel to Royal Assassin, which I just talked about. This is Assassin's Quest, which is, like, Royal Assassin was big, but this book is like 200 pages longer. So I figured I might as well just get a head start on this one instead of reading something else that wasn't on my TBR. So that's what I've been doing for the past couple of days. So I've gotten a little bit into Assassin's Quest, which I think is good. Because, yeah, not convinced that I can read this entire thing in October. So that seemed like the best idea. So that's basically what I did. So that means that we're at the end of this vlog. I haven't started editing yet, so I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but hopefully it was somewhat enjoyable. I had a really good time doing these 2 readathons, and the fact that I got them to overlap so well just made things a lot more easier than I had feared, maybe, when this month started. But yeah, it's been a good experience, and hopefully I can do it again sometime with one or both of these readathons. Hopefully they will be back at a later time as well, because these are just really fun readathons. But that's going to be it for this vlog. If you enjoyed it, you can always hit like down below, or you can subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me. That's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!